are back. Are they better than ever? Let's not get carried away, but they're back. We're back. We missed you, didn't we?
Of course.
Of course. Let's talk about the NBA. Let's talk about fantasy hoops. Guess who's back? Kevin Durant, Rajon Rondo, Danny Granger. Are they going to see limited minutes until they're 100%?
You know, I don't know if they're going to see limited minutes because you're talking about a couple situations with playoff teams. Not necessarily Kevin Durant. Good sign that he's back on the court because, as we know, for fantasy owners, one of the best scorers in the NBA. You've seen his assists, his rebound totals increase in his second year. He's just a tremendous scorer, one of the top 5 scorers in the league. Get him active in all leagues because, as you see, the ankle problem not going to limit him. Then when you're talking about Danny Granger and Rajon Rondo, 2 players in a playoff race. Indiana still trying to fight for that final seed in the Eastern Conference. I don't think they're going to get in, but having a healthy Granger is going to help. He came off the bench in his first game. I don't think that's going to continue for much longer. They will eventually put Marquise Daniels back on the bench, so that's going to really help Danny Granger's minutes, his production as well. The foot injury not going to be too much of a problem. Same thing with Rajon Rondo. Came back 2 games already that he's been back. Now you see the first game on the graphic here. Second game, he was also playing at the level that we're used to, contributing points, assists, rebounds. Listen, Boston is still going through a little bit of the motions without Kevin Garnett. Glenn Davis still banged up a little bit. Now Eddie House dealing with a little bit of an injury as well. They need Rondo healthy. Another guy also to keep in mind is Hedo Turkoglu because he is also coming back from an Achilles injury. Boston, Orlando, these 2 teams fighting for the top spot in the Eastern Conference, along with LeBron James and Cleveland. I think you'll see Turkoglu get back to the level that we've seen prior to the injury.
All right, his rhythm will come back sooner or later. You know, the unknown in fantasy can hurt you, and with Devin Harris, that shoulder, it's unknown, Jamie.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's a scary situation, you know, especially when you're talking about another team trying to get that 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. Devin Harris has been one of the best breakout players, if not the best breakout player in fantasy basketball this year, just having a tremendous season, an all-star season. So that's something to keep an eye on. He's going to miss Monday's game against Denver, potentially going to miss Wednesday's game against the Knicks as well, dealing with this injury. So you want to see if he can come back on the court and get back to the level that we've seen. Hopefully this isn't going to be a season-ending injury for him. And then Darren Williams is the other guy you want to keep an eye on because this is a bad situation for him. The thing to keep in mind with Utah, and we talked about this last week, Utah, Phoenix, and Milwaukee, only 2 games this scoring period. So if Darren Williams misses one of those games, he's questionable right now for Tuesday's game against Washington. If he misses that game, only 1 more game this scoring period, and they may be cautious to give him the extra rest with the next game toward the end of the week. So that's something to keep an eye on.
So if you have a safe option, maybe move him to the bench?
I think so. I think that's a good idea.
All right, let's talk about more. Let's talk about Caron Butler in Washington. Usually injuries, when they're not long staying, that's not the case with him. This hamstring is reoccurring, Jamie. That's a problem.
Yeah, he's had a history of, or not a history, but a season full of injuries with hip problems, you know, just various little ailments for him. And now this hamstring problem. When you're looking at Washington, this is a team that's out of the playoff race. They're fighting for pride. They're trying to avoid a franchise low for victories. But that's something to keep an eye on, is that Caron Butler could be out for an extended period of time. They have no reason to rush him back anytime soon. So we should know more. Check out CBSSports.com and fantasynews.cbssports.com for the latest information before you set your lineup. But when you're talking about Caron Butler, this is an injury to keep an eye on because, again, they may not rush him back to the court.
All right, and no matter how much you need him, Washington needs him more, even though they're in no hurry to get him back. All right, when you're looking at the Jazz, what if they decide to play it safe and Mehmet Okur is on the bench waiting for the playoffs?
Yeah, same thing like Deron Williams. You know, only 1 or 2 games this week. Mehmet Okur dealing with an ankle problem. Utah's coming off a grueling 5-game road trip. Remember, they won 12 games in a row, and now they've lost 3 in a row. I got a chance to see them on Saturday against the Heat. They got taken to the woodshed basically by Dwayne Wade, 50 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds. 50 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. Let's get that right. The Jazz team just a little bit tired, had a 3 overtime game there, went to Orlando dealing with this problem. Okur had to play against Dwight Howard. That was a little bit of a tough matchup for him. So you can understand why maybe the ankle injury was came up during that contest. So I think you'll see the Jazz be cautious with him, be cautious with Williams. And again, with the 2 games this week, they may rest him just to get him back healthy for the end of the week. All
right, and to counter these injuries, who are we picking up off the wire, Jim?
Well, that's a good point, because you look at 3 guys that could potentially help you. If you're looking for help at the forward spot, Antonio McDyess has been playing for the injured Rasheed Wallace. Wallace is going to miss probably another 2 games, so keep him reserved. McDyess has just really picked up the slack. When you look at Leon Powe, as we know, Kevin Garnett not expected to return until Friday, which is March 20th at the earliest. If he does come back, that's going to limit Poe's value, but Poe's still going to get you a couple more games. He's been playing at a really high level since Kevin Garnett went down. And then you look at Bino Udrih, finally came back. Another guy, we'll wrap this all up, finally came back from injury, dealing with that ankle problem. He's playing again, came off the bench in his first game back. But I think if he's available, pick him up because you'll see about 5 to 6 assists per game and 10 to 15 points. That's good production.
It's absolutely good production. We want you to produce for your fantasy team. The rest is up to you. For Jamie Eisenberg, I'm Lauren Shahadi. We'll talk to you.